Yeah, we live right now, family. Back at it once again. It's been a couple of days. Um, been real busy, but I'm back now. Doing another live stream, man. I got a lot to talk about. I wanted to clam in a whole bunch of topics on this one title. So, and there's a lot more I want to talk about also. But anyway, family, Chauncey, aka the Black Separatist, back at you once again with another GMOG Media TV live conversation. So yeah, late Friday night, I'm doing this. Basically, now I got free time to really talk about these subjects that I really wanted to talk about earlier, but I didn't have enough time. So I want to address these things, man, and just share my thoughts about, what's going on, things of that nature. So anyway, before I start on my commentary, if you're new to this live stream, once again, my name is Chauncey, aka the Black Separatist. On this channel that you're watching live right now, I talk about counter racism. I also talk about issues that affect Black people collectively as a group. And I offer my suggestions on how to replace this broken system of injustice, this broken system of racism, which is white supremacy, with a system of justice. So if you are new and you subscribe to that ideology, please subscribe to this channel. If you don't subscribe anyway, haters are just view counts, troll watchers or hate watchers. You're just a view count, and you're a fan, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, yeah, it's a lot to talk about, man. So yeah, these are things I saw clips of, earlier this week, on various social media sites and stuff like that. And the pattern that I see, which is always the same pattern, is the code that these white supremacists follow, and they never break out of that code. And Black people, we don't have a code collectively as a group. We may have fringe groups or whatever, all kinds of religious, beliefs and cultures and things like that set within those paradigms. But collectively, we don't follow a code whatsoever. So the first thing I wanted to address is this psychopath white supremacist Dylann Roof. It just frustrates me that when I see these Black people who have been brainwashed by religion to keep them pacified, to keep them lullied, to keep them docile from the issue of racism, white supremacy. It's just really becoming an issue. So I want to address this Dylann Roof thing because he has a confession video where he basically confessed, yeah, I shot those niggers, and laughed about it. I have not seen, there's actual video footage of it, which I'm going to play for you in a minute as soon as I set this up. It's like my browser, my Chrome browser, or one of my tabs crashed. So I'm going to bring in another browser to play the video. So I'm going to watch this video and just give you guys my reaction to it. And there go a commercial. give you guys my reaction to it. I have not seen the video yet, but the headline is from CNN.com is mass shooter. Yeah, of course he's a mass shooter. He's a psychopath, white supremacist mass shooter. Dylann Roof, with a laugh, confesses, "I did it." All right, so I got it up on my Firefox, so we switch my monitor, play the video, and give you guys my thoughts.
I went to that church in Charleston, and I did it.
You did what? I mean, I know stuff sometimes to say.
It's not that I don't want to say it because I don't want to make myself seem guilty. I just don't really like saying it.
I know sometimes we have to face those things, the realities. You know.
We don't want to put any words in your mouth. That's why.
Right.
That's why Agent Stansbury is asking you what it exactly is that you did do.
Well, I killed him. Well, I guess. I mean, I don't really know. Well, I don't know how many people or anything like that.
So did you shoot him?
Yes.
What kind of gun did you use?
A Glock 45.
Ah, okay. So you know the exact gun and everything. I'm not even gonna watch this commentary. Yeah, the dude's a psychopath. He's a goddamn psychopath. You know, it's not surprising at all. He's a psychopath. That's what the hell he is. A goddamn psychopath. White supremacist. Full-fledged. And, you know, these silly Negroes who are brainwashed and conditioned in their religious beliefs to forgive everything. I forgive you, Dylann Roof. Meanwhile, this white supremacist follows a code to not give a damn about anything and not have any remorse for killing your family members, right? So, like I said, man, it's this psychopath white supremacist Dylann Roof, you know, has no remorse, never did, never cared. The dude, it just sounds like a goddamn psychopath, man. I mean, it's just the way he talks and articulates and his voice inflection. It just annoys the shit out of me, to be honest with you. It really annoys me. You know, that this guy is actually still breathing today. Meanwhile, and sorry to kind of switch subject real quick, but meanwhile, the death toll for these goddamn race soldiers, so-called police officers from the county, the death toll for 2016, this is combined for all people, is over 1,000. I said, I think back in early November, I said I wouldn't be surprised if the death toll does not reach, if it reaches over 1,000, I wouldn't be surprised. And it's well over 1,000 now, 1,007. Okay. 1,007 people died in the hands of law enforcement. And break it down by race, 242 black people were classified as black out of 1,007 died in the hands of so-called law enforcement. All right. So there you have it. Over 1,000. 1,000 deaths. And like I said, meanwhile, Dylann Roof is laughing, able to be his own lawyer, you know, talk to his white supremacist friends or comrades and all these white supremacist boards, you know, like Stormfront, you know, Monkey Mania. These forums, they're going crazy for Dylann Roof. He's the hero. You know, 1488, which is Hail Hitler and white nationalists. You know, they're going crazy for this guy. He's a goddamn hero. He's a god in the eyes of these white supremacists. And again, silly black people, okay, the family members of the slain victims from the Charleston, South Carolina shooting, forgave him. We just got a whole bunch of goddamn forgiving Negroes. That's the goddamn problem. Because of religion. Because you're pacified by it. You know? That's a huge problem. But you know, what can you do? The guy's still breathing. You know, he's still alive. And I hate to say the old cliche, you know, it is what it is. You know, black people, we just have to get our shit together. We have to follow a code of conduct collectively as a group. Okay? Nothing to do with religion. We need a code to follow. That's it. We need a code to follow. Okay? And that first code, or one of the codes, I would say, is to not, and I've talked about this before. Okay? Don't confess you forgive a murderer, a psychopath like a Dylann Roof. Period. Don't ever do that. Ever. All right? So, you know, these white supremacists, like I said, they follow a code and they continue to do what they do. They continue to do what they do. And I saw this headline from football player from the Denver Broncos, Brandon Marshall. You know, I kind of get confused with the other Brandon Marshall from the Jets because they got the same exact name, but they both played two different positions. But anyway, Brandon Marshall, the football player from the Denver Broncos, posted a letter on his Instagram page from a racist troll. Okay. Spent time to actually handwrite a letter to Brandon Marshall with, I'm going to read this, man. And this is really, I would say this is extremely silly and very typical, but let me just read this. Hello, Mr. Marshall. How are you? You are a great football player, Mr. Marshall. No, you are not. You are a worthless fucking nigger who is a spoiled fucking jigaboo. If you're so happy with America, with your millions, and move out of the jungle, you fucking gorilla monkey. We hate you and your kind of niggers. You black fucking porch monkey. Your name should have been Jigaboo. Your time is coming. Watch out, nigger. Go back to Africa, mud puppet. You gave a bad name to good black folk by your Jigaboo actions. We are channeling a devastating hard hit for you. Something to make you invalid in a wheelchair. Ha ha ha. Watch out, nigga. It's coming. So, first of all, the person who wrote this has the penmanship of a 3-year-old, literally. You whipped out a how to be a racist troll manual with, you know, 4 to 6-year-old vocabulary. Dude, you just got to be more creative than that. These white supremacists, you trolls, you got to be more creative than that. There was somebody that posted the other day on my page, some troll called Jigaboo. I mean, like, really? Can you be more creative See, that's the reason why black people are the most creative beings on the planet. We're not typical, man. You can't put us in a box. So when you see a racist troll, you know they're damn white supremacists based off what they say. Go back to Africa, jigaboo, nigger. Y'all need to come up with something else, man, because that's not gonna fly. You know that's not gonna fly. Y'all are like broken records, man. Come with some remixes, man. I mean, come with something better than jigaboo, go back to Africa, monkey, gorilla. Can y'all do way better than that, man? Seriously, because that's just straight garbage. All right. But anyway, the letter he got, I don't even know where this came from. I believe he sat out, or I'm sorry, kneeled for the so-called national anthem. Now, here's the thing, you know, here's the thing, right? Now, Brandon Marshall has been in the league for, I would say probably like 5-6 years. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked up his, where he started, right? But, you know, with all the protests that are going on in the NFL, you know, you got Colin Kaepernick, who basically started the Black Power Revolution in the NFL. I wonder how many letters he got that he's not even shown. I'm pretty sure he got millions of letters. And, you know, white supremacists take the time out to actually write a letter on paper. And this guy happened to write a goddamn letter on printing paper. You know, like I said, with the penmanship of a 3-year-old and vocabulary of a goddamn probably a vocabulary of a goddamn 11-year-old. And I'm being nice. But these insults, man, just extremely typical, man. Extremely typical. Y'all got to do better than these goddamn insults, man. It's just it's so typical, man. It's just comical. It's really comical. But I wonder how many letters Colin Kaepernick got. I'm pretty sure he got, like I said, millions of letters from these white supremacist trolls, right? And when you're out on the spotlight, like these athletes, you know, you're gonna get these kind of things. But I'm shout out to Brandon Marshall for showing this letter, you know, out in the public like that, to show you how typical and dumb these white supremacist trolls are. Extremely stupid and typical, right? And again, this guy took the time out to actually physically write a letter. I mean, that's just abhorrent to the third power. Straight up. Straight up. So, you know, y'all got to do better, white supremacists, man. Come on my page to troll me with screen names like Jigaboo. And, you know, listen, I don't care about the stats. I'm not here on YouTube to make money. You know, I haven't asked for one goddamn penny or donation or whatever. I do videos because I want to do videos. I do videos because I provide suggestions on a system that I feel is invalid, which is completely wrong and needs to be eradicated, which is white supremacy. And I offer my suggestions on how to replace it with a system of justice. That's what I do. So I don't ask for no money or nothing like that. I just go out and make videos and that's it. All right. But at the same time, you know, when you have a certain amount of followers or so-called followers or supporters or viewers or stuff like that, you're going to get this kind of backlash, such as a Brandon Marshall, who's on a larger stage as an NFL player. You know, this is something that these guys get on just basically normal. But again, Brandon Marshall decided to share this letter out in the public, which is a great move on his behalf to show you the cowardice, the stupidity, the abhorrent behavior of a white supremacist troll. Okay? That's exactly what he did. He just basically showed you a mirror. This is what you white supremacist trolls look like, behave, your typical insults, nothing new. That's it. That's all you got. So shout out to Brandon Marshall for doing that, man. That was real good. Real good. So like I said, I want to talk about various topics, you know, on this live stream, man. There was something else that I saw also regarding the case for Walter Scott and the mistrial. You know, I saw bits and pieces of the mistrial, basically the footage of it and things of that nature. Am I surprised by the mistrial? Absolutely not. We live in a system of racism, white supremacy, where when you are summoned as a juror and the majority of the jury selection is white with one black guy, what do you expect? Right? Nothing new. It's called business as usual. That's what it's called. So I'm gonna play this video regarding the black juror Michael Slager. Says Michael Slager, juror foreman, speaks out on mistrial and Walter Scott shooting. So I'm gonna play this video. I'm gonna give you guys my real-time thoughts about this mistrial. So let me put it back on my monitor. Play the video.
Of a former police officer who shot and killed an unarmed black man in South Carolina. For 4 days, the jury deliberated over the fate of Michael Slager, but could not reach a unanimous decision. Dorsey Montgomery served as the jury foreman. He's along here with his lawyer, Ross Miller. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks. Officer Slager said he feared for his life. He fired to protect his own life after he thought Walter Scott had gained control of his taser. But so many people have seen that video, that cell phone video, Mr. Montgomery, that shows Mr. Scott being shot in the back as he ran away. When you got into that jury room after the trial, how did you deal with that?
Well, at first, we looked at the evidence that has been presented, and looking at the video, of course, the video is something that's very shocking. So not knowing everything that we know now, of course, we can speculate, but after seeing the video and seeing the evidence, we understand just a little bit different now.
You personally, when you prepared and started deliberating, were you prepared to convict Officer Slager?
At that point in time, yes. At that point in time, yes. Initially, it was going to be murder. But after we looked at the evidence and read the laws and looked at the things that were presented to us by the judge, we had to come to find out that he didn't do anything malicious. He had a brief disturbance and reason for that moment. So
the motherfucker got shot in the motherfucking back. What the fuck you talking about, bruh? This motherfucker got shot in the back running away in slow. Well, I ain't really mean to make light of the situation, but every time I watch the video, it seemed like that motherfucker, rest in peace to him, I'm sorry. It seemed like dude, Walter Scott, was running in slow motion and got shot in the back, okay? Running away from a so-called police officer. I don't care. I'm gonna go off code. He's a goddamn race soldier, all right? The race soldier murdered Walter Scott in the back, running away.
Will be classified under manslaughter, voluntary manslaughter.
It was reported that there was one lone juror who held out, but you say that that was not the case. This was an evolution of a number of people. What happened inside there? How many jurors?
And that's why I'm here to correct that and speak up for my jurors who were with me in the deliberation room, because I come to find out that the media misconstrued that particular letter. When that letter was submitted on that Friday, it was because we had one individual who was just deadlocked that he wasn't changing. but yet we had 5 other individuals who were undecided. And so because of that, we went, and when the judge asked me, I believe that we could have deliberated just a little bit more to see if we could sway that particular juror and get those who were undecided to make a decision.
You're referencing a letter that was sent to the judge on Friday where the juror said that he or she could not in good conscience consider a guilty verdict.
Yes.
How did that juror explain that sentence, that letter to you?
He just had his own convictions, and I'll leave that right there.
You're the only African-American on that jury, correct?
I was.
11 other
Oh,
jurors.
what a surprise.
Do you think race played any role in the deliberations and the outcome of this trial?
Due to the society that we live in, race will always be a factor. But at that point in time, I do believe some jurors may have that in their mind, but the majority of them didn't have anything in reference to race that may have played a factor in the decision.
Let me bring in Ross, your attorney. Ross, there's been a lot of talk, obviously.
Where the hell they find this Negro from? See, that's the problem with white supremacists, man. And their particular system is so intricate. They picked this motherfucker right here. Okay? They picked him. I don't know where they got this motherfucker from. I'm not even going. I have so many things to say about this dude as far as his mannerism and stuff like that. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna talk about that. But the denial, the deflection, right, of racism by this dude is exactly what the jurors wanted. Let's pick the black guy who is docile when it comes to racism, white supremacy. Let's pick that guy. All right. So let's make it seem like, well, we picked one black guy and he basically said the same thing we did. Bravo to you white supremacists, man. Y'all picked a nice as a scapegoat for your beliefs. Kudos to y'all motherfuckers.
You mentioned about race, but also how jurors see police and the difficulty in coming to a conclusion to convict an officer involved in a shooting. This officer said he feared for his life.
What his training told him to do.
What his training told him to do. How, in your experience, do jurors process that firsthand account from officers?
They'll take into consideration what the officer says, of course, but people have a preconceived notion as to what police should and will do, regardless of whether or not they've obviously never been in a similar situation. But people have these preconceived notions of what police should do, what they will do under intense circumstances. And I can't really speak to what the officer in question did or why he did what he did.
Let me end with you, Mr. Montgomery. Walter Scott's mom said after the mistrial, she said, "It's not over until God says it's over." What would you say to
here
Walter
we
Scott's
go.
mom?
At this point in time, I believe that justice shall come forth, and whatever the outcome is what the outcome shall be. I just played a small part in this particular part of it, but whatever the outcome will be, that will what the outcome shall be.
Mr. Montgomery, we appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. Thank you as well.
Yeah, the outcome shall be to be a docile Negro coon, okay, being blinded by white supremacy. That's the outcome from that guy's perspective. That's what that is, man. Like I said, this is business as usual. As usual for white supremacists, man, for a system of white supremacy. All right, you can get fancy with it. You can call it systematic oppression or systematic racism or systemic racism. The powers that be who control them, they're classified as white, so therefore it's white supremacy. All right. Again, it's business as usual, so it's not surprising at all for that stuff to happen. Whatsoever. All right. So anyway, it's another video or another article that I want to address also, right? And I had tweeted this on my Twitter timeline about this 14-year-old terrorist, all right, that was wielding some knives at his school. I think it was in Nevada, Reno, Nevada. And he got shot by a campus police officer, if I'm not mistaken. Now, the thing about this story, right, is that the headlines, and I'm going to one source, but basically the mainstream media, okay, the white mainstream media, they are basically coming up with, they're paying the victim role for this 14-year-old boy who got shot by this campus police officer, okay, for wielding a knife and trying to stab people at the school. So they're basically saying he was bullied, right? He was bullied at the school, so therefore he needed to bring a knife to stab people at the school. All right. Obviously, it's not an excuse for you to bring a knife or a gun because you're getting bullied. All right. That's not the answer. I can get more in depth about that, but I'll leave that at that. But mainstream media is saying that this guy was a victim. The guy's father is out saying, yeah, he's being bullied, et cetera, et cetera. Turns out, you know, obviously the kid, the 14-year-old, has a record, has a juvenile record. So he's not a squeaking clean kid at all. But, you know, the thing about it is, I'll put it on my screen so you can see the article I'm talking about. But this is the kid right here, you know. Looking at his wardrobe, looks like he got money too. Got a nice polo shirt on, some foam posits, and he brought a knife to school. Looks like his nose is bloody. But he got shot, and I believe he's on life support or something like that. And, you know, I haven't seen any derogatory headlines for this kid besides them bringing up his juvenile record. But for the most part, they're coming up with, you know, they're copping pleas for this kid because they say he was bullied, right? But at the same time, remember the black Muslim who got shot and killed at the school, and I think it was in where was it at? I got the article right here. Let's see. Yeah, OSU. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name. In OSU, Ohio State, Daily Mail. I just like going to Daily Mail because, you know, they're not US based. They're international. And you get the power of white supremacy being global when it comes to having these kind of headlines coming from, you know, a social media outlet that's not US based. But anyway, you got headlines like family of ISIS soldier in campus knife rampage claim they are as shocked as anyone that sweet boy went off rails as neighbor tells how they live in squalor. You know, headlines like that, you know, being compared to ISIS. When it comes to, you know, white mainstream media, basically, if you're a black Muslim, you're tied to ISIS. If you're a black person that wants to challenge the system of justice, you are going to be tied to Black Lives Matter. So that's what they do. They tie you to these groups that are labeled as terrorists and hate groups according to the Southern Poverty Law Center. All right. They tie you to these groups to basically kill, you know, two birds with one stone. You know, they want to eradicate ISIS, eradicate Muslims, and they want to get rid of Black Lives Matter. And with the help of the presidency of Donald Trump and his cabinet, it looks like that's going to happen. You know, we're in a reality situation right now where that's going to happen. You got a man, Donald Trump, who is going to be our next president of the United States. And he still gets an opportunity to be the producer on his show, The Apprentice, while running the country, so-called, right? So that's just another example of the system that we live in, you know, just another great example that we live in a system of injustice, and we need to desperately replace this system of injustice with a system of justice. All right. And going by the code from Neely Fuller, justice basically means guaranteeing that no person is mistreated and guaranteeing the person who needs help the most gets the most constructive help. All right. That's the compensatory definition of justice. You know, in that light, that's going to take a long way to go. But at the same time, we're not on code. You know, we're not on code. And it's just the fact that Black people have so many, you know, different ideologies, religious beliefs, things of that nature. It's going to take a long time before we're all on the same page and understanding that this challenge that we live in today, right now, the biggest challenge, the biggest threat, the biggest issue is racism, white supremacy. You know, it's just that simple. Just that simple. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to lay out those topics in this video, this live stream, and just knock them out of the park, because I really wanted to talk about it. You know, every time, you know, when I come up with topics, just for y'all to know, if I come across a topic, I'm automatically basically giving commentary in my head. So I'll see a topic, you know, online or even watching TV, I'll start talking about it in my head. So this is basically what I do right now. I'm basically talking about what I saw to you live instead of in my head. So this is like I said, when I come on here, man, I'm not here to make money. I'm not here, you know, for fame. I'm just here to basically share my thoughts. That's it. So I'm sharing my thoughts to the world and not in my head anymore. I'm just sharing my thoughts to the world, you know, live, uncut, and that's it, unfiltered. So, you know, again, this is a system where I talk about replacing a system of injustice with a system of justice, which is racism, white supremacy, replacing that with a system of justice. So like I said, I basically give you guys my live thoughts, unfiltered, uncut. And, you know, that's it. That's what I do. So it is what it is. But anyway, family, I am going to sign out. I'm going to do a couple of other videos that are not live. So I'm going to be working on that as well. So be on the lookout for that. Appreciate you guys for watching me live. Thank you. If you're new, like I said, please subscribe. If you subscribe to the ideology, if you don't, subscribe anyway. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below about any of these articles I talked about, whatever the case may be. So, all right, family. Chauncey, aka the Black Separatist. Again, thank you guys for watching me live. Signing out. Peace.